سامح واجب، واجب إذا كان أعظم العظماء الخالق عز وجل يسامح، فنحن بشر خلقنا ما نتسامح.
أعزائي المشاهدين، أهلا وسهلا بكم من جديد مع برنامجكم الأسبوعي برنامج إماراتي. كما عودناكم في كل أسبوع نستضيف لكم خيرة من دولة الإمارات. قصة نجاح مع السيد نويل والسيدة ليلى. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
At the first, we are so lucky to be here with you, Madame Leila and Mr. Noel.
Thank you for being with us.
Mr. Noel, at the first, we would like to know about yourself. Who's Mr. Noel, from where he come to us?
My name is Noel Greenway. I'm the managing partner of the Great Minds Group. I was born in India, lived there for about 22 years, and ever since I've been here in Dubai, working and now operating the Great Minds Group.
And for you, Madame Leila?
My name is Leila Masinaei. I'm originally from Iran. I came to Dubai with my family at the age of 9, so close to 30 years now, and have been lucky to be brought up and educated here. I used to work with Noel actually in our previous employment until about a year ago, where we decided to collaborate with each other and form Great Minds Group.
Before we're talking about GM, we have to talk about you, Mr. Noel, the man who came to this country before 11 years, and he found himself between more than 200 different opportunities. He's tried to prove himself between these challenges here. Let's talk about the employer life, what it was and when it was.
So this goes back to 2008.
Yes.
I had a few friends who worked in Dubai. And every time I would speak to them about Dubai, I only used to hear praises about how well the country takes care of their people, about the opportunities that lie in this region. So that pushed me towards trying out Dubai. I came here in 2008, started off as a sales executive. I was lucky to be guided and molded by some very strong individuals. They taught me a lot of the ways the conference business works, how sales work in general. So from there, in about a year's time, I was promoted into becoming a sub-manager, where I still was a sales guy, but I was also managing a small team. 2 years from there, I became a permanent sales manager, managing a team of close to about 6 people. And slowly from there, in about 5 years from the time I started off, I was heading the division for the sales division in one of the companies that I worked in Dubai, and had 3 managers reporting into me, had about 18 employees overall in that department. So if I look back, as an employee life, it's been a very interesting journey where I got to learn a lot from all fronts, sales, industries, various verticals, got to meet some of the topmost people in various industries. And then today, it gives me great privilege to be owning a company with my business partner, Leila.
And for you, Leila, let's talk about a little lady, Leila, when she was here, living with UAE people, we'll say it, and then she finished her education life. When it was the first time you joined a business in general, or working here?
Well, my first work experience was actually not in UAE, it was in the US. I left UAE at 18. I was privileged to be able to go to the United States and get educated. After my 4-year degree, again, I was privileged enough to be hired and given a work permit in the US. and I worked there for a few years before I got homesick, and I missed Dubai and I missed my family, and I decided it was time to come back. So when I did come back to UAE, and I think that's in 2006, is I came and looked at various industries, and one of my friends was working in the conferencing industry, which is a marriage of research and development, marketing, PR, sales, and then the opportunity to travel. And at 26, 25, this is a really exciting opportunity. So I applied for the role of a conference producer, where my primary job was researching and developing the content of a conference, and then inviting speakers, and then project managing a conference. And this was in the same company as Noel. Like Noel, I went from a conference producer to a senior conference producer to managing my division to deputy MD and the managing director of that company, essentially until a little over a year ago, where I decided it was time to leave and start this thing with Noel.
idea to open this kind of service. Let us talk about GM, the name from where you get this name. Who suggested for this name?
I think it was a cross collaboration. What we say conferencing business and industry does is it brings the best, the greatest minds in a sector together, right? So if you're doing an event on IT, on AI, on defense, on security, on healthcare, the people that you see in a conference are the greatest influencers in that sector. So what we decided is that we want to start up a company that will bring the greatest minds in an industry together. So I visited Department of Economic Development and I said I want to reserve the name Great Minds. They argued with me for about an hour because they said it's not possible, no one has taken this name before. But eventually they couldn't find anything and Great Minds came to be our name.
Okay. When we talk about the business, we have to talk about the part of the business, the employees, and the kind of services we have to give. Let's start from the kind of services. The event management, we have to talk of all the parts in this multicultural country.
Correct.
Tell us about the services and what you are doing.
So, in any conference, comes a big element is research and development. So, when we think about launching a conference, we spend a lot of time in researching on that topic. We're talking to the great minds of the industry. From there, we put together an entire program. We bring the thought leaders to come and contribute as speakers. From bringing the speakers together, we develop suppliers that can contribute towards the industry. And then we marry everyone together to actually develop a strong conference which the industry can learn and benefit from. So there are various elements that go into developing a conference. Like I said, research is a very important element. Apart from research, also ensuring that the event gets the required marketing and PR coverage is very important. So at GM, with us having the ability to have an events division along with a PR and marketing division, it becomes very easy to be able to deliver everything together at one place.
The second part of the business, the employees that we have to talk about.
Yes.
We start from one employees and we are talking about more than 33 different employees. How did you choose them and how did you train them?
I think the success of every and each company depends on employees. I think any company that discounts and discredits the value they add is not there to stay. So we are very careful with our employee selection, and we usually go about selecting our employees with one very simple core guiding values. Are they going to be a part of our family? Are they going to get well on with everybody else? Are they trainable? Can we train them to do things in a different way? Not necessarily a better way, but a different way. Are they going to think about themselves as part of the team? Are they going to help people out without asking for anything because they know that someone else is going to go out of their way to ask them? And so we do a lot of aptitude testing when selecting our employees. Today we're lucky that we have about 15 different nationalities in the office, and every single one of them has that shared common core principle, is that they are part of family, and if we succeed, we're all successful together, and if one of us fails, everybody else fails. And this comes with, I think, a culture of celebrating success, for finding solutions, not blaming anyone, everyone coming together to fix something if it's broken. It comes with training and development, like you said, understanding where a person is in their career path, but also in their personal path. I always look at people and try to understand what are their aspirations, who they want to be, where they want to be in life. And if you really try to marry up goals and targets at work with their personal aspirations, then training and developing people becomes that much easier because you're working towards their goals.
When we opened our business at the first time, I have to, or did you remember your first project for GM?
Of course, we do. In fact, cinemas was our first project in Great Minds. We launched out this conference because it was one topic that this region missed. The United States had a pretty strong event which was catering to the cinema market. Europe had one, Asia had one. The MENA region never had a cinema event. With Saudi Arabia opening up to cinemas, it gives us more the reason to be able to contribute towards the cinema industry. So if you look at our conferences in general, or if you look at our business in general, we would like to say that we are people who can solve challenges for our clients that they can't solve by themselves. Or if I put it across in another way, we can solve problems for our clients that they might take much longer finding solutions to. With the cinema industry, with Saudi Arabia opening up to cinemas, it required the contribution of many parties, starting with designing and constructing cinema theaters, to bringing together the distribution channels, bringing together local content, international content. So a conference like Cinemas, which we did in Dubai, became a brilliant opportunity for all the stakeholders to meet at one place at one time and pretty much contribute towards the industry. You know, what's interesting is last October when we launched this, there were many companies that we had worked with that had zero presence in the region. And today we get calls and emails from them telling us that they're working on 5-6 mega projects. These are elements that actually make us feel very proud and give us a good sleep in the night.
Yes. When we opened the business the first time, we have to care about the advertisement to let the people know us. Now I'm talking about the big project. We have a big connection with governments here in UAE. So this coming from big advertisement or the word of mouth is strongest that we have to talk about?
I think it comes from word of mouth. Yes, we own a PR and marketing agency, so I can advertise anything and everything about us. I'm privileged to do it, and it will cost me very little money because I own an agency. But we don't do that. First, we let the quality of our work speak for itself, and then the second is built on relations. Right now, we are working on 6 or 7 mega government-led projects with ministers and heads and chiefs of states and so on and so forth. And I don't think any of them have been through advertising channels. These have all been through referrals of a project we've done for a government entity, and it may have been small, but it was so exceptionally executed that we would refer for bigger and bigger projects. Alhamdulillah, we are now lucky enough that we are working on a project under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, to be in that position in a span of a year. In an industry where I'm well aware there's about 1,000 events management companies established is a privilege, and I don't think marketing and advertising solves that.
When we talk about the business in Dubai, we have to talk about the quality. We have to talk about the big challenge. We have to talk about more than 200 different nationalities in this country. So when we go into the event side, we have to talk about the culture of these nationalities. This need more experience, more professional in the work, many equipments and tools raw materials, suppliers, subcontractor to install to be everything perfectly.
Correct.
Tell me about this part.
Sure. No, in fact, to start with the culture, I think Dubai always demands the best quality. Especially with us working with government bodies and ministries, there is no getting away with delivering something of low quality. It's got to be exceptional. So every single time we deliver a conference, it comes with delivering the best stage, the best LEDs, best sound quality, and above all, best of speakers and quality of the program in general. So, like I said, well, Dubai demands the best, and when we do conferences in Dubai catering to the region, there's no exception to going low on quality.
The big effect coming for our quality indicator, it's the services. The services, we have to talk about it. Tell me about your service.
So it's really interesting because in any kind of industry, I think you have to provide a service that is applicable to everyone. And I think most companies do really well doing that, you know, a service that is generic. What we need to be very careful about is to then go within that generic provision and find out the pockets that require different types of service and look after them. So what we do is we look at our audience, we look at the diversity of attendance, we look at different goals for their engagement. We try to identify why they're coming to this event, why they're participating in this, and within under umbrella of a big offering, we create sub offerings. Sometimes this requires specific equipment. Sometimes it requires translation to a language that only 2 attendees speak it, but English is not very good. So we translate into a language that has 2 audience in the group. Sometimes it requires several business meetings managed by us for someone who has come to Dubai for the first time and is actually scared to have a meeting with someone of Arab culture that they've never interacted with. So what we do is we identify the needs of our customers, and then whether it's spending time, purchasing good equipment, hiring additional service providers to make sure that they're really satisfied with their participation, we deliver that. And I think that because of that, people then are starting to identify us as the people that really look after you. So time after time, they now come back to us for whatever is their next project.
33 employers we have. I want to ask you about the relation between Leila and her employees. How did you find the relationship?
Well, I can't say anything beyond everyone are like family. Leila is pretty much like the mother of our company.
Yes.
We call her, like in India, there's we call Amma for mother.
Yes.
So a lot of the people in the company call her Amma. And that's mainly because she does care for every single employee. It's not just at work, it pretty much anything to do with anyone's personal life, we do care. And if that requires spending additional time outside work, Leila's always ready to do that.
A strong woman, businesswoman, mother in the business, and mother for 2 little ladies.
Yes.
How you can give a time for all these parts?
Time management. I think there's few things. One is not procrastinating, focusing on areas where I can add value, not busy work, and quality over quantity. So I try to look at tasks at hand, and if I need to take a little bit of time to train someone and empower them to make the decisions, so therefore they can do that without me independently, I take that time to do that. If I need to look at the things that I need to do in a day, I will go after the ones that are the big ticket items that if I do them, add more value to the company. So it's always about prioritizing the task at hand and quality over quantity. I have a deadline where I have to go home. And when I go home, until about 9 o'clock, everyone knows not to call my phone, because until my daughters go to bed, it's their time. And whilst I don't get to spend all day with them, I do spend 2-3 hours of quality time where it's about her, my daughters and I. My phone is away and we do something together. And by doing that, I think I try to achieve the best balance. Is it perfect? No, I think every working mother has the guilt that they're not doing enough at work or they're not doing enough at home. But I think if you focus your time and effort on getting the most out of your day, then you reach a place where you're kind of happy with yourself.
What is under the process project now we have it?
We are working on a few very interesting projects with government bodies here in UAE. One of the very interesting projects is with Dubai Police. It's on crime prevention. So it talks about security, safety of a nation. It's a very interesting topic because safety and security is of course very important for every one of us, every individual, and at the same time every nation. So Dubai Police are taking the lead with bringing together 20 other various police forces from across the world to talk about best practices in ensuring safety, and also suppliers and technology providers from various parts of the world to talk about what is new in technology, what advancements are there in contributing towards crime prevention. That's one interesting project. There are many other interesting projects with ministries here. We are waiting on having a few things finalized, so very soon those announcements are likely to happen.
Future important in our life. The vision of our leaders always support us, think about the future, and the target always opposite our eyes. So what is your next step in the business?
I think we're going to really focus on growing the teams that have been established. Like we said, we have the Great Minds Event Management, Great Minds Marketing Agency, and PR Agency right now. So for the next 6 months, we really want to make sure that these entities, these agencies are the best at what they do with systems and processes and tools. We've only been operating for a year, so everything is not perfect and there's room for improvement. I think once those improvements are in place, we would like to span our scope to other verticals that are complementary to our industry. So advertisement in form of a media agency, fabrication, so we can really build the stands and the stalls and the show elements. And I think the grand vision for us, which we're working toward, is a convention center, and this is our 5-year plan. We do realize that in Dubai, between 5-star hotels and World Trade Center, which is mostly booked, there is nothing in the middle there that is affordable, that is luxurious. So we want to create a 5-star hotel in a convention center, on top of which we have all of our agencies, and I think right about that time I will retire.
5 years back, we celebrate that Expo coming for us, Expo 2020, and we prepare to now. We are preparing to be Expo #1, as what he said, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid. So this big festival, our big event, it will be here. The event companies, they must be ready for this big festival. What are you planning for Expo?
Since we work with a lot of government bodies and ministries here, we are playing a role with contributing towards their vision towards Expo 2020. And that could come with creating side conferences, side events for these government bodies that are very heavily involved with Expo 2020. That's some of the key things that we're currently doing.
UAE or Asia, Africa, we're going everywhere. Tell me which countries you are working with.
So obviously our home is UAE, and the majority of our projects are across Dubai and Abu Dhabi. We work with our neighboring countries, so we have a couple of projects with Saudi Arabia and as well in Oman. We have had some work with Egypt, and we're now expanding in Africa. We just completed a project in Nigeria and are working on one in Ghana. The beautiful location of Dubai allows us quick access to the rest of the world, and we're capitalizing on that connectivity.
UAE is a target for many people. And many newcomers will come to this country. They need an advice from the people who have enough or fair enough experience. What you will advise for everyone before they come for this country?
To start, the leaders of this country have been very kind in giving people like us an opportunity to actually explore ideas and plans. So the reason why I say this is because when we started off the company, there were a lot of processes, there were a lot of paperwork that was required for us to complete. The processes that the leaders have put in place in this country are so so easily done that our business pretty much took off to start much faster than we had anticipated. So not only did the registration process go very smooth and was pretty done faster than we had anticipated, also the operations of this country, the kind of facilities that the government entities provide us are a lot more quicker, a lot more richer compared to some of the other countries. So my advice to anyone that would want to start something like this would be to ensure that they have a strong plan, a strong strategy before they start something. And if they do, pretty much go ahead with it, because you've got enough and more people with the leaders of this country supporting you to go ahead and accomplish your goals.
To find a woman as a businesswoman, we will not say impossible, but it's a little people we can find in this situation. So what's your advice for the woman in the home to be a leader or a businesswoman?
Okay. First of all, I think leadership can take any forms. So a stay-at-home mother is a leader in her own right, leading the way and paving the way in her home and her community. And I need to identify that. You shouldn't necessarily have a business role to be a leader as a woman. But the other side of it is, it's so commonly said, oh, you can do anything. You're nothing short of a man. Or be a man. And I would like to say, let's dissolve that conception, or that misconception. For me to be efficient, for me to be effective, for me to be a good leader, I don't need to be like a man. I need to be like the woman that I am. As women, we can multitask more than men can. That's biologically proven. We have empathy and nurturing abilities that are much richer than men, because we have maternal instincts. And if women capitalize on those capabilities and strengths and realize that how unique they are in their abilities and nurture those, and really try to be the best versions of themselves rather than always wanting to be like the men that they lead with or going across with, I think they will be a lot more successful. I think believe in yourself, believe in your passion. Don't let anyone tell you can't do anything, but you don't have to be a man to do anything or like a man to do anything. You should do it just like the woman that you are.
UAE, this peace and safe country. When we talk about UAE, we have to talk about the country which opened her hand for more than 200 different nationalities. We all living together as a one man or a one nationality. It's an Emirati nationality. It is culture which mixed between these 200 different nationalities come for us peace and safe country. We leave our door open, we never close our car, we always don't care what time we can walk in the street, because everyone have a respect for his brother. So what you would say for this perfectly amazing leaders and this government?
Every single time we get the opportunity to talk about UAE, there's nothing less than praises that you can contribute towards what the leaders have done for this country. You spoke about the safety and security. Pretty much right. Well, many of the occasions when I lose my keys, I don't have to lock the door to my house. I find it pretty much safe. I know no one's going to step into that house. Pretty much same with the cars, or pretty much anything that you do around Dubai is very safe and secure. While safety, security are great elements of what a nation needs to contribute, like I spoke about a little earlier, the opportunity that this country gives young youths is enormous compared to what we could probably get back home. If I look back 11 years, what we are today is pretty much because of the leaders and the way they've developed this country and the opportunities they've provided us. So every single occasion we could get to contribute towards this country's growth, this country's economy or future, we would grab it with every single, grab every single opportunity that we get our way.
Leila, you was living here from 30 years back, so you remember Sheikh Zayed, she's the one who started the step here, and in the school we call him Baba Zayed.
Yes.
Zayed is the one who teach us how to respect the humanity in this country. What do you remember from Sheikh Zayed?
I mean, I was little when we came to Dubai, and when I started, I went to Dubai International School, and the first thing I went back home, the first day I told my mom, I was like, Mom, there's kids in my class from 11 different countries, and they speak different languages, and it's really, really interesting, and everybody tried to be my friend, and no one tried to judge me. I'm a brand new girl in school, and at age of 9, and I understood that. That was the first impression I had of Dubai or of UAE was inclusion. And in my class were Emirati students who are to date my best friends, kids from all over the world, all walks of life. And then there was the stories of Sheikh Zayed and Baba Zayed. We actually had to study them in social studies. And one of the best stories that I remember was when he started implementing the equality laws, when there was no difference between your walk of life or your status or your nationality, that if you committed a crime in UAE, you are a criminal irrespective of your status. And that was something that was so very loud and clear early on in UAE, and I remember that. I was like, I went to Iran one summer and met my cousins, and I was like, you know what's really cool in UAE? It doesn't matter if you're a sheikh or you're labor. If you're a criminal, you're a criminal. And that's what makes my country great. I've been referring to UAE as my country. My children are Emirati. I'm very privileged for that. So now this is home, and I can be here forever, spreading that word of pride.
Mr. Noel and Leila, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Today, the Emirati team said you welcome again, and we are so lucky to be here with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
ما مثلها عال بسيطة وجد دولة هذه